Hey guys, hope everyone's having a good day. So, I know in my last video, it's been quite a while. It's been, I think, about like 3 or 4 weeks since my last actual video. And I remember saying in that video that I was gonna post every week and whatnot. Well, it turns out right after I made that video, the week after, I got sick. And my voice still isn't 100%, but it's way better. I lost my voice for about 2 weeks plus, so yeah, that was kind of poor timing on my behalf, but I do apologize. And this is a long overdue video on the Ryan Crouser. Uh, I just haven't really made a video about him just because, who everyone has made videos about Ryan Crouser. He's the greatest shot putter of all time. And all that is just, I just thought it was boring, but I feel like, you just kind of have to analyze them. But I think I'll just analyze a throw that everyone always does, like it's like 23 plus meter throws. I think I'll do this throw because, I just want to be a little different. Analyze his 2280, um, that he did. I forget which year this was. This had to be the year, like, I think probably 24, 20. It was, I think, after Tokyo. So, in between, like, 22 to 23. Or, sorry, 24. Because, he was actually competing. I'm glad he's actually competing now in Diamond League and stuff. I miss him competing and stuff. So wish him well too with his elbow issues. But let's just play this a couple times. So this throw 2280. As you can see by this throw, just so rhythmic. I think he probably has the best rhythm ever. Starts so slow and then just sets up the throw. And I think that's why he's so consistent as well. In his throws, that he always just goes pretty slow at the back. And just sets up the throw, and I think that's a big thing. Jada Ross does that really good. You'll see all the good throwers, they go relatively slow at the back, unless you're like a Tom Walsh or like a Joe Kovacs. But honestly, they are going slow at the back for them. It's very relative. So slow at the back for someone else is so like a 18-meter thrower slow at the back is different than like a Joe Kovacs thrower out the back in terms of speed. And out of the three like top guys, Kovacs, Crouser, and Walsh, Crouser's definitely the slowest out the back. And you can argue he's just the slowest one out of all of them. He just gets away with it because he's like almost a foot taller than them, and he just has unrivaled like rhythm. I think his rhythm is the best ever. And I think that's one of the reasons. Actually, I know that's one of the reasons that contributes to him throwing so far and so consistently at meets, is just how rhythmic he is. So we're going to break this down. Now, in this throw, he does the famous Crouser slide, where he winds. First of all, if you look at his wind, super good athletic position. Hold on, let me back up. So super stable, super athletic position. Just in like a little quarter squat, and just super balanced, not too low, not too high, just a slight knee bend, quarter squat position, super balanced in between his knees, does a nice flat wind, very nice. And as he goes, does the slide, you notice that he keeps his left arm back. All right, and then as he goes, so he steps a little wider. So he tends to throw with a little wider base, simply just because he's just taller. He's 6'7", so, and I don't want to hear any jokes about that in the comments. But that's why he can get away with that kind of position, is because he's kind of wide. Now, it's also a comfort thing. Some shorter people also like to be wide out the back. It just depends on just comfort level, honestly, for you, and if you can just hit that position and get out of that position. I feel if you're really wide, if out the back, in terms of your starting position, or like how wide your feet are apart, I feel like that can lead to some issues. Um, like being hard to get over your left, but then you can argue that you don't need to be over your left as much just because you're wide. Um, but it's also just harder to move faster out the back with that. But if you're really tall, and especially if you have really long legs, now Crouser is actually pretty evenly like distributed in terms of long like limb length. Sorry, um, like he doesn't have I know he has tall legs, but he doesn't have like a short torso or short arms by any means. Like he's pretty like evenly distributed. Like he has a pretty long torso, long legs, long arms. He's like the ideal build, honestly, for like a shot disc thrower. To be quite honest, just 6'7", lanky, um, and just an athletic freak. And he still holds the national high school record. I think at 237 feet in high school. I think like his freshman year of college, he threw like 59 meters, the 2K. I actually don't know how far he threw after that in college with the 2K, but stands to reason. I think if he actually chose to be the discus thrower, I don't know if he would have broke the world record in discus. But he definitely would have been a 70+ meter thrower. It stands to reason. You could throw 23 meters in shot put, you could probably throw 70 meters in discus. Um, but let's see. Let's get here. So when he steps back, he holds his left arm back, holds his torso back. Now he's putting weight over. And you notice how he keeps his heels pretty low to the ground, his left heel low to the ground. And that's because, of course, this camera lady's blocking it. But I'm sure everyone that's watching this video has watched Ryan Crouser before. If you haven't, you're living under a rock. But that's because he likes to put his heel on the back of the ring and use the back of the ring, like the actual like lip of the ring, to push off. So he doesn't have a super high heel out the back like you normally would. And also this position right here, good Lord. Now, you're not going to hear me say a lot of negative things. Honestly, probably nothing negative about his throw because, honestly, there's really nothing. Like, he's like the gold standard of technique, honestly. So, this is just going to be a glaze fest, which is the other reason why I haven't really made a video on him. It's just because it's like, what's there to really criticize? I'm sure he can find things to criticize and stuff. Because, I mean, this isn't his furthest throw ever, but still 2280. Oh, no, it's such a bad throw. But I guess for him, he'd probably just walk out the front on this throw nowadays. But let me get an actual straight line. If you notice, super level at the back, eyes towards the right of the sector, super wide sweep. Love that. And you notice the shin angle here too. A lot of people want to get a super low shin angle. You don't want to be too low or else you just fall and you can't move. This is about the ideal shin angle you want, where the knee is pretty much like looking at the middle of the circle. All right. And you want this type of shin angle. You don't want like this type of shin angle. If your shin angle is too low, you're just going to collapse and you can't actually like sprint off your left. All right, so if you notice, like, elite level sprinters, their shins are not, like, parallel with the ground, and I tend to see that sometimes. Sure, it's an impressive thing that you can do, but really, you're just falling into the middle, and that's, like, a big thing I see is that people think that lower is better. If you actually look at a lot of really good throwers, they're actually pretty tall through the circle, and you're going to see this with Crouser, Kovacs especially, a lot of discus throwers. Now, mind you, that's one of the reasons they're super tall is because they're super strong, so they can get away with it, like a Christian Cantwell or something. Although he was super tall because he had knee issues. But it's also because if you're too low in the circle, it's just harder for you to move. It's harder for you to rotate. All right? So you want to be super low in the glide, but as a spinner, you don't want to be that low. Now, obviously, like, you don't want to just be like straight-legged. You got to find like a happy balance. But you don't want to be so low that you just physically just cannot move. All right, you still got to be able to be in athletic positions, which is why the quarter squat is the standard for to be an athletic position, because it's just low enough where you can still use all your body, all your muscles, and it's not too high where you're not using anything. All right, so it's the perfect happy medium. All right, and it's the most explosive position you can possibly be in sports. All right, so this is a great shin angle. All right, so his left foot stops, left arm keeps moving. I really like that. So he stops it. I know this is a sideways view, but he's going to stop it like here, basically like parallel. So basically his chest. So basically what he's doing is he's making a T. So his chest is facing the middle of the ring, and his elbow and left arm are parallel to each other. All right, so he just basically makes a T like that. All right. Now he's still he's still on his left foot. By this point, maybe I think he could get off a little earlier. But let's see. Yeah, he could have got off a little earlier. But also he doesn't sprint as hard as like a Kovacs or a Walsh or people like that, or like a Reese Hoffa. Simply just because he's so tall. If he actually did that, he would just go too far across the ring. So he's not like stepping around, but he's not doing like a conventional like sprint out the back. And as a taller shot putter, rotational shot putter, that's really what you need. Is you can't do a conventional one unless you're like Christian Cantwell and start super tall. But Crouser doesn't do that. He is like the same level as a conventional like 6 foot or like 6'2" shot putter, like rotational shot putter. So he's not walking, but he's not doing a hard sprint. He relies a lot on a sweep to get him across the ring. So if he was like 6 foot and really needed to sprint to get across the ring out the back, I would say he's on his left foot too long. But this is fine. And if you notice, he's not extending, he's not locking out this left knee. Now, obviously, it extends a little bit just because it has to push off a little bit. But if you notice, it stays bent. It stays bent the entire time. It does not lock out. And that's very important. You never, ever want to... I apologize for my neighbors. The kid's screaming for no reason. I hope that doesn't go through in this audio. What was I saying? Oh, yes. Yeah, you never really want to lock out your knees ever in the throw until like you hit the block, and then like your left foot, if you're a right-handed thrower, then your left leg locks out like that, and that's what creates that push. All right, so, but we're not there yet. So he lands here, pretty nice. I would like to see when his left. Oh, okay, there we go. When his right foot lands in the middle. So let's see. It touches there. I would personally like to see his left foot passing, but it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's still a fantastic position. Right here. Now he actually has, let's see. So he touches here, but actually has weight on his right foot there. So that's good. That's a good position. And then he's going to keep that right heel up the entire time. Now, notice it's not too high, because if it's too high, you're going to suddenly have an unbalanced base, and you're going to start wobbling, and you're not going to have... You want the stable base. So you don't want your heels to be too high in the circle. All right, and that goes for out the back and the middle. All right, you don't want it too high. You want to be able to land on a stable platform, which is the ball of your foot and not your toes. But he does a great job of when he lands with that right foot, he keeps that same level with his heel. So it's not dropping either. It just stays the same height that he lands with. And that's what you want. All right, so he's going to keep turning. Notice this position right here. So when he lands, his left foot is facing that way, not that way. I love that because if you notice, now he has a super big stretch right in his hips. And that's going to create a stretch reflex effect or elastic effect that's going to snap him around and help him, help his hips snap around. So here, really nice. Honestly, not the greatest finish I've ever seen from him. He actually shifts a little bit. So he gets here. Usually when his left foot lands, his right foot's facing that way. It's actually facing that way a little. So there are actually some like these are so minor technical flaws. I mean, he still threw 2280, but I think these are the differences between him throwing 23 plus and 2280. Um, so he gets here, lands upper body wise, pretty good. Um, a little more open than usual, but not bad. His left arm is starting to not pull, but stretch out. Really nice there. And super nice orbit. I think he's a little too crunchy here. And what I mean by that, like it looks kind of like he's doing a side crunch. Um, but I have actually not seen that many side videos of Crouser, so I don't know if he actually normally looks like this. But just, I think it looks a little bit too much, but that could just be the way he just throws. And also, who am I to say? No. Who am I to criticize Crouser? Okay, no. I think it's just the angle because no, that's actually fine. I think it was just the one frame the one frame. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Forget that. And the other thing is I think he actually doesn't actually turn his right foot as aggressively. He's actually normally his knee is normally over his toe here, but he's actually shifting quite a bit actually on the throw. And what I mean by shifting is he's shifting his weight to the left foot too early. I believe, which is why his right foot gets off the ground a little bit too early. Now he's normally still pushing into the ground by this point, but his right foot's actually off the ground. Now he still stays on it for a really long time, and still a great finish by any metric really, but it's not like the most perfect thing. I've definitely seen him have better finishes. But this is where I'm talking about. Look at his left leg. You see how, so he lands bent, keeps it bent, keeps it bent, keeps it bent. All right. And now it locks out. And that's how he gets that lift. All right. So he pushes into his left side with his right side while his left side or his block goes back. All right, so that helps him, one, stay in place so he doesn't get too far over the toe board where he can't save the throw. And it also helps snap his hips around. All right, so it's kind of like a push-pull motion where his left side pulls back where his right side pushes. And that creates that super stable block and helps snap him around with his hips. And if you notice, too, his heel is not on the ground. All right, it is up in there, and that's the preferred block I have, that I teach. I mean, and I don't really like coaching just a flat left heel, unless someone is having a super hard time in blocking. But I also believe you should never really have to force a block. It just kind of just happens. I always say to just block successfully, just move your right side faster than your left, and then it just kind of just happens. But if you have a really hard time like pulling your left side, or just that cue doesn't work for you, or something's going on in your block, then I guess do a flat left. I like a flat left foot block like what I mean by that is that your left heel is just like on the ground. I really like that for non-reversers and like discus and stuff. Because it really makes you grounded. I believe that this kind of block really helps you get more lift, and especially in shot put, I really like this block. Discus as well too, but I think this is the ideal block because this position right here is beautiful. All right, he's square. He's looking at the shot, leave his hand. He is starting to get that extension, and if we look, let's see, one more frame. Yeah, one more frame. Still blocked. And if you notice, his left foot's here. Okay, his left foot's here. Let's see, where does his right go? Yep, right replaces it. replaces it perfectly, and easy save. And I think that's a great thing about Crouser. And what I look for in efficient technique is if you can just save the throw. So the actual technique of the throw is designed to help you save to just make you save a throw. So if you do the throw correctly, you will just save the throw. All right? And this is why Crouser really never foot fouls or anything like that. He rarely ever actually fouls unless he just walks out the front on like a 2250 or something. Because apparently to him that's not far. Yeah, but really like he'll get the occasional maybe like when he's like reversing his heel will like clip the edge of the toe board or something like that. I remember he got called on that for like at a diamond league. But very, very rarely does he ever foot foul. It is such a rare occurrence. Like, I can't remember the last time I've seen a foot foul. And I think it's a testament to why he basically has almost perfect technique is because of that. He's just moving. Every move is so efficient. There's no wasted movement. All right, everything is done to a purpose, is done intently. Everything is super basic. I know this slide thing, but for the Crouser slide, I guess I have made a video on it. Only do the Crouser slide if like you're gonna do it seriously. One, you got to commit to it, and then two, really only do it if you have a good base technique. You know, Crouser broke the world record before he, actually started doing the slide. And he only did the slide just to get a little bit more. All right, so it's not like a necessity. Not everyone needs to do it. All right. I think people can use it as a drill to help feel getting over their left foot more out the back. But as like an actual serious thing that people do in comp, I don't know if it's necessarily the most like the thing people really need to do. I would just stick with the basics, especially if you're in high school. I don't think there's any need to Crouser slide at all. You have to be super fundamentally sound for this to work. All right. Otherwise, there's no point to it. All right. It's just meant to just enhance your throw. All right. But using it as a drill and like practice, yeah, sure. I mean, go ahead and knock yourself out. But overall, fantastic. And I know I said he had the best rhythm. So let's get this rhythm. So I always like to do the da. And it's the left, right, left. Left, right, left. And if you can do that timing, one, it means you're super balanced through the ring. Two, you have super good fundamentals. And then three, it just means that you're accelerating the way you want. Because you don't want to accelerate too fast. Otherwise, that left foot comes down too early and you land blocked off with your hips. All right? But you don't want to land so slow that your left foot is late and you're in the bucket and now you're landing open and you lost a bunch of your power and you decelerated through the throw. All right? So the happy medium of da. Left, right, left. All right? And let me back up a little bit more. And you're going to see this. Left, right, left. Right there. And he is so good at that. Every single throw he does is that tempo. And it's awesome. All right? And then also the other thing, the going slower out the back. Now, obviously, you need to go to a certain speed to the throw actually works and you can actually turn. So you can't go too slow. But also, you want to go slow enough that you can, one, repeat the back of the circle every time. And then, two, you can set up your throw. And he does an amazing job. So, da. All right? It's just slow, fast. All right? And it's such a good rhythm. It's such a good rhythm. I love it. I love his rhythm so much. It's just poetry. But, yeah. So, anyway, if you want to look for a technical model in shot put or discus, honestly, Crouser's your guy, pretty much. I mean, he basically has like the most flawless technique out of like anybody ever. You know, sure, even I pointed out some stuff in this throw. Again, this is also not his furthest throw ever, but even still, if if any of my throwers could even do like one thing as good as Crouser, I mean, my goodness, I would be loving life. I mean, just even in this throw, the positions he hits are just absolutely extraordinary. And again, like I haven't really made a video on him just because I just thought it'd just be boring. Just because one everyone's just done videos, multiple videos of him. Um, oh, I guess I never even talked about his orbit. Um, he has a super flat orbit too, where he gets here. So he has a pretty high sweep here, and then to low, high to low. That's again because he's tall, and he's not trying to go too far across the ring because he's that tall. So that high low sweep is very good. I tend to coach a low, just like low sweep the entire way, like or low to high if it's discus. But high low, like the high to low sweep works really good too if you're really tall, and especially in shot put, that's pretty much a must. I do think you need. Sorry, sorry. Again, I'm not 100% in terms of my voice and my sickness. Um, but what was I saying? But you also don't want as high of an orbit in shot put as you do in discus. Simply because you want a flatter release angle in shot put compared to discus. Oh, damn it. So he has a very flat orbit, and I think that's what you want. And if you notice too, so he lands in the right, on his right side is going to stay the same. He's not going to get lower, he's not going to get higher. He's just going to land on his right and just simply just turn. And then now he lifts with the upper body. All right? And that's what you want. You don't want to land with the right and then just go down or go up. You just want to land and then rotate. All right. And Kovacs is another one that's really good at that, where he just lands and just rotates. And that creates that maintains that speed. If anything, it accelerates your speed, does not slow you down. Because if you start going up or down or changing directions, that's just wasted movement through the ring. And that's what slows you down. All right. So you want to just land and then I went the wrong way, and just turn. All right, and he does a fantastic job of that. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. I mean, again, there's really like nothing to say about his throw that's like bad. Relatively, I mean, it's just an amazing throw. So hope you guys like this throw, and hopefully my voice gets better the next time I make the video. Just wanted to put a video out there, so yeah. Thanks for watching, and have a good one. See y'all later. Bye.